In the previous video, we briefly mentioned Ibn Arabi's view that the human being, the perfect human, is God's vicegerent on this earth. In this video, we are going to explore further and in more detail about it. By the way, before I proceed, I want to say that if you like what I do, please like my videos, share them and subscribe this small channel. You can also support this non-monetized channel monetarily, be it PayPal or Patreon. Your support does mean the world to me. Thanks in advance. Quote, this being, it as the comprehensive being, is called human and also a vicegerent. As for his humanness, it derives from his comprehensive structure and his comprising of all the realities. The perfect human, due to his comprehensive nature, is rightfully bestowed with the role of being God's vicegerent. This notion, previously discussed in our earlier videos, provides a solid foundation for delving into the concept of vicegerency. Having established that only humanity possesses the exceptional quality of comprehensiveness, Ibn Arabi proceeds to present his explanation. Quote, Iblis didn't prostrate himself because Adam combined in himself two forms, the form of the cosmos and the form of Al-Haq. Both are the two hands of Al-Haq, while Iblis is part of the cosmos which doesn't possess this comprehensiveness. Therefore, Adam was vicegerent, and if he were not manifest in the form of that which made him vicegerent, for the purpose of his vicegerency, he would not be vicegerent. And if he didn't combine in himself all that which the subjects for whose sake he was made vicegerent require for him, because they depend on him, and hence he must implement what they need, he would not be their vicegerent. Consequently, vicegerency is valid only regarding the perfect human. Therefore, God created his manifest form from the realities of the cosmos and its forms, and his invisible form in the form of God. For this reason, God said of him, I was his hearing and seeing. And he didn't say, I was his eye and ear. He made a distinction between the two forms. Just as Al-Haq is in the perfect human, he is in each existence of the cosmos in the same measure that the reality of each existence requires. However, no existence possesses the comprehensiveness of traits possessed by the vicegerent. He gained his status of vicegerency only because of this comprehensiveness. In the mentioned passage, Adam is regarded as a combination, thus making him comprehensive. The concept of combination is one of the most important anthropological keywords in Ibn Arabi's philosophy. Ibn Arabi explains in the opening chapter of Fusus that God desires to see his own essences in a comprehensive being that encompasses all his affairs, and therefore he created Adam. So what is the combination that constitutes human? As we explained, it is a combination of the form of God and the form of the cosmos. Adam's outward form clearly indicates his physical body, while his inward form signifies his spiritual aspect. Quote, human consists of two copies, that is the outward copy and the inward copy. The former corresponds to the cosmos and the latter to the divine presence. At times, the role of vicegerency is specifically attributed by Ibn Arabi to the spirit. As an example, following his elucidation of the individual soul as the breath of God, Ibn Arabi clearly states, God assigned them, the individual souls, to govern the body, and appointed them as the vicegerent over it, making it clear to them that they are vicegerents in it. Ibn Arabi further explores the concept of combination or comprehensiveness bestowed upon Adam by God, which establishes his vicegerency. Additionally, Ibn Arabi interprets this concept in metaphysical and theological terms. Thus, Adam symbolizes the combination of all the realities found in the cosmos and all the divine names, the former being his outward form and the latter his inward form. In the previous quote describing the perfect human, it is stated that if the perfect human didn't possess everything required by their subject, they wouldn't be the vicegerent. The subjects in this context refer to the realities of all existing beings in the cosmos. which are necessary for the perfect human to embody in order to fulfill their role as the vicegerent. In the earlier quote describing the perfect human, it is stated that if the perfect human didn't possess everything required by his subjects, they wouldn't be the vicegerent. What is required by his subjects is the realities of all the existence in the cosmos. Quote, this human being is both created in time and is eternal, coming into being and living forever. The word that distinguishes between possibility and necessity and gathers them together. The world owes its existence to him. His relation to the world is like the relation of the bezel of the seal ring to the seal ring. The human being is the place and the sign by which the king seals his treasure. Because of this function, God calls him the vicegerent, for through him God preserves his creation, as the seal ring preserves the treasures. So long as the king's seal is on the treasures, no one dares to open them except with his permission. For this reason, God has appointed him as a vicegerent who preserves his possessions. So long as the perfect human remains, the world will not cease to exist. Do you not see that when he disappears and the seal of the treasure of the world is broken, nothing of what Al-Haq preserved in the treasure will remain, and all the parts which exist in it will go out being united with each other, and all of them will move to another world, and he, the perfect human, will be an everlasting seal on the treasure of another world. A human being is not the sole reflection of God. The cosmos also reflects God. However, while human being and the entire cosmos both reflect God, only the human being reflects God in a single form amidst a multitude of diversity of the divine names. Other creatures reflect certain names of God, but not the comprehensive totality of God. In simpler terms, while the world consists of many manifestations of various divine names, the perfect human serves as the manifestation of the name Allah, which encompasses and synthesizes all other divine names. Within Ibn Arabi's metaphysical framework, the perfect human is considered like the face of God in his creatures. The microcosm of humanity mirrors the macrocosm of the created world. However, the name Allah is manifested in human being in such a way that individual name comprehended by it is equivalent to all the others. In other words, the unity of the divine is directly manifested in human being amidst the multiplicity of the cosmos. On the other hand, the cosmos itself, although also reflecting the name Allah, does so in a particularized manner, displaying the relative multiplicity inherent in that name. While other cosmic entities may not share humanity's potential for knowing Al-Haq, they also don't bear the responsibility of serving as Al-Haq's vicegerent. Human responsibility over the cosmos is characterized by protection, akin to a seal guarding a treasure chest. The composition of the perfect human entails not only reflecting the comprehensiveness of God's names, but also reflecting the comprehensiveness of all creatures. The perfect human serves as microcosm and the world serves as a macrocosm, with each reflecting the other in distinct ways. The entirety dispersed throughout the cosmos is contained in compact combination within the human being. This correspondence allows humans to contemplate the signs of God both within and outside themselves. It signifies that the perfect human acts as a bridge between God and the world, mirroring both through the act of self-contemplation, a reflection of the divine act of self-contemplation in the mirror of creation. The microcosm and macrocosm not only mirror each other but also rely on one another. The microcosm acts as the polis that animates the world, just as spirit gives life to form. The presence of the small cosmos, it as human, brings vitality to the big human, it as cosmos, like polish bringing clarity to an otherwise opaque mirror, enabling it to reflect the animate forms before it. Therefore, the existence of the macrocosm is intimately connected to the microcosm, which is regarded as Khalifa or vicegerent. Some commentators of the Quran interpret the term Khalifa as rooted in Khalafa, meaning to come after. this suggests that human beings come after all creatures, summarizing all grades of virtue within the human state. This complements Ibn Arabi's description of the perfect human as the seal to the cosmos. The composition of the perfect human, both in the form of the cosmos and in the form of Al-Haq, not only makes them the vicegerent of God, but also the steward of the world on earth. That is to say, vicegerency implies stewardship as well. Essentially, the word becomes the responsibility of the human being. Besides, the human being becomes the one who receives and can understand the divine message as the source to live in the world. Hence, human being is regarded vicegerent due to the fact that human being is created in the world as a mercy unto all beings, no exception. Having explored the concept of the perfect human as vicegerent, we can now consider its ecological implications. The realization of the perfect human signifies the complete reflection of God, enabling God to see himself in what is other than himself, fulfilling the purpose of the cosmogonic act of God, the hidden treasure. One significant implication is that humanity must safeguard nature, particularly through the presence of the perfect human, who is the realized vicegerent of God on earth. The realization of a human being entails the protection of all other beings. Let's quote again Ibn Arabi's passage. The human being is the place and the sign by which the king seals his treasure. Because of this function, God calls him the vicegerent. For through him, God preserves his creation as the seal ring preserves the treasures. The ecological degradation caused by human actions contradicts the spirit of vicegerency and calls for a response. While the perfect human exists to provide for the world, physically destroying it compromises the existence of natural phenomena and rebels against the purpose of the vicegerent. This highlights the need for human stewardship of nature, taking the form of contemporary environmental action. Acknowledging that God has ordered the natural world perfectly and that the environmental crisis results from human corruption, the Quranic call to not work corruption upon the earth after it has been set right becomes more relevant than ever. Only the children of Adam, uniquely made in the form of God, can be the vicegerent. This prerogative is embedded as a seed within every human being, sprouting to life upon an individual's realization as the perfect human. The perfect human serves as the locus for the manifestation of all the divine names and has the purpose of knowing and reflecting God in a complete manner. Consequently, knowledge of God by a human being necessitates the existential protection of the created world. The world was not created and cannot exist and survive without the perfect human in the very sense as vicegerent and his stewardship of all the creatures of the world, especially in an ecological context. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.